It is honestly crazy to think, and even crazier to still be able to say this, that we are still early. But that is the truth right now, and Wall Street institutions have just confirmed this. The CEO of the $13 trillion asset manager, Larry Fink from Blackrock, just confirmed live on CNBC that their Bitcoin ETFs have now surpassed $100 billion in AUM, which is so insane, making this the fastest growing ETF, the most successful ETF in history. And the crazier part is the fact that only 1 year later, since the ETFs were launched pretty much, Wall Street only have access to Bitcoin and Ethereum, which is also proof of just how early we are. There are still another 100 or so ETF funds waiting for SEC approval. There's a whole market that is yet to be tapped into by Wall Street. But the definitive proof of just how early we still are, especially with XRP, is highlighted in this other interview here with Larry Fink once again, where he confirms we are at the beginning of the tokenization of all assets. Listen very closely here.
What do you mean by digital?
I do believe we're just at the beginning of the tokenization of all assets, from real estate to equities to bonds across the board.
It's very loud here.
It's very loud, but it's good. Capital's at work. Right?
You like that?
I love capital at work.
Yeah.
There's $4.1 trillion of money in city globally in digital wallets. A lot of that money is outside the United States. If we could tokenize a ETF, and digitize that ETF, we could have investors who are just beginning to, invest in markets through, let's say, crypto. They're investing in it, but now we could get them into the more traditional long-term retirement products. So we look at that as the next wave of opportunity for BlackRock over the next tens of years, as we start focusing, moving away from, traditional financial assets by repotting them in a digital manner, and then having people stay in that digital ecosystem. They can have their cash, and we have the largest cash money market fund that's tokenized called BITL. Our Bitcoin IBIT is now over $100 billion.
I know, from nothing not that long ago.
Around 2 years ago, zero.
Yeah, I know. Well, you weren't always a huge proponent of crypto, as we know.
Yep.
I love it.
But I grow and learn. I heard you say that on 60 Minutes. I did. Yeah.
This is mind-blowing, very, very huge news, and a very crystal clear idea of where BlackRock, and therefore where the whole financial market, will be migrating to in the not too distant future. But how does this correlate to XRP, I'm sure you're asking? Well, Ripple recently formed a massive partnership with Securitize, which therefore also coincides with BlackRock and VanEck. As this interview from Carlos Domingo explains, with RLUSD, Ripple stablecoin liquidity now live with Securitize for BlackRock's BUIDL and VanEck's VBIL, we now have a whole new batch of utility for tokenized treasuries, instantly moving real-world assets to RLUSD on chain. This is huge again, so listen very closely.
Securitize is partnering with Ripple. Regulated yield-bearing assets move with stablecoin-like speed and flexibility.
Look, in traditional markets, I have very high quality collateral. But the problem is that collateral, which is very high quality, it moves very slowly. Because when I want to post those collateral or move it, or when I want to lend against it during the weekend, etc., those options are not available because markets move at the speed they move, and sometimes they are closed, etc. I said in crypto, people tend to use, either crypto assets or stable coins to post as collateral, which move very fast, right? So I think that, tokenized treasuries like BUIDL or VBIL, they kind of merge the best of both worlds, right? They give you the same high quality, assets that you have on TradFi as collateral, but they move at the speed of stable coins. But now, of course, if they get liquidated, they need to be moved back into like digital dollars, right? Tokenized dollars. This is why integrating, tokenized treasury funds like BUIDL and VBIL with stable coins like RLUSD is very critical for the whole thing to work properly.
So to recap, BlackRock states we are at the beginning of the tokenization of all assets, and they are also now utilizing Ripple's stablecoin, the RLUSD, to do so, unlocking utility for tokenization. This is proof here that Blackrock are confirming they're beginning to tokenize everything with XRP. The growth and adoption, demand and usage of the RLUSD stablecoin will massively benefit XRP as well. So again, we are so incredibly early. We can see right now, Bitcoin and the market for the most part is going through a correction off the back of a tariff flood that's going on right now. Bitcoin at 110k, ETH at 3.9k, XRP currently down 2.88% on the daily time frame, valued at $2.43. And with the future looking so bright, in my belief, not financial advice of course, but there's no way XRP can remain at this dirt cheap value, not for much longer. Of course, we have to remain vigilant, understand that while Wall Street are saying we are early, they don't want you to be rich, right? They never do. So they are going to say we are so early, we've got so much time, and we do, but time is quickly running out. And Wall Street will do whatever they can, any underhanded tactics to make you sell your bag, which is why you need to lock in and know what to hold. Continue doing your own research. Blackrock want XRP. The best analogy for what we are witnessing right now comes actually in this other institutional interview on CNBC with Bitwise's asset manager, $15 billion Bitwise here, who explains and compares crypto and institutional adoption to a slow-moving freight train, one that is effectively unstoppable and continuously picking up pace. Is just slow right now. Listen closely.
They talked about this need to get exposure to crypto. They're currently on 0. They're going to 5%. That's the big story. It's a slow moving bull market, but it's a very strong long-term bull market from my view.
What's on the horizon? Maybe some government, maybe finally getting some domestic regulation or clarity on what it's going to look like. Is that what's next for Bitcoin?
So for a short-term catalyst, for sure, progress on the Clarity Act in Congress, if we see that, if the government reopens, would be positive for crypto. But the real bull story for crypto is just the slow-moving freight train of institutional investment. I've probably done a half dozen meetings with institutional investors and financial advisors over the last 2 days. None of them talked about what happened over the weekend. None of them talked about the liquidations Meltem talked about. They talked about this need to get exposure to crypto. They're currently on 0. They're going to 5%. That's the big story. It's a slow moving bull market, but it's a very strong long-term bull market from my view.
So this is your chance to achieve generational wealth, to retire your bloodline. Just know what you hold and keep doing your research. To find out more though, stay more locked in, come check out the VIP group, wop.com/coin factory. From Alpha institutional research documents, educational courses, trade alerts, and much more. Those who have been a part of the community for a very, very long time are very, very happy with what we have to offer in there. So you want to find out more, level up your trading game, investing game, and check it out. Link down below in the description. Free trials about. And remember, for my family, don't look short term, think long term. And I'll see you in the next one.